We'll call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order at 10 o'clock. All those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a lot of special guests here today. The room is actually, I think, overflowing.
I think we have several rooms overflowing.
All right. But do we have any public here for comment for items that do not appear on today's agenda? All right. We'll move forward. I think we do have an addition to the agenda. Kind of at the last minute, statecollege.com is applying for is it a state grant, John?
It is, I don't have, hold on, I have the name for it
All
here. The Press Forward Grant.
Press Forward grant. All right. So would it be okay with the other commissioners if we did add that to the agenda?
Well, essentially what it
end of
is,
the
they're
reports.
looking for a letter of support.
Support for
Yeah.
a state grant.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not funding it.
Okay.
All right, so if the other
Yeah, I'm fine.
two commissioners are okay with that, we could take a motion to add the statecollege.com letter of support for the Press Forward grant, maybe under section 13 reports.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the statecollege.com letter of support for the Press Forward grant under report section 13. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to the meeting minutes. If everybody's okay with those, we'll take a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the meeting held May 28th.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting held on May 28th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we have two related proclamations. Proclamation number 33 is to proclaim June 3rd to the 7th as Child Welfare Professionals Appreciation Week in Center County. We also have proclamation number 34, which will cover Child Service Providers Appreciation Week. So I believe at this point, I will hand it over to Leah and probably Julia and a whole bunch of other people. Oh, Julia's going to round up some troops.
Oh, sure.
All right. So I think also Patty and Christy.
Yes.
Yes.
You need some more microphones.
We do need some more
Yeah.
microphones. Yeah. Let them all file in first. Okay.
Hear this part of it.
Okay. Go ahead and fill in the gaps, folks.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Yeah.
This is the team that makes it happen.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Big team.
I got a big team is right.
You can scoot down
Come
this
on
way
in,
as
guys,
well.
there's more.
Yeah.
Slide in. Yep. Slide in down that way. Yeah. It's okay. Don't be afraid. It's all right. I
promised a
promise.
continental
I
breakfast.
promise.
Oh, really?
Perfectly okay. Come on in.
Look at you guys.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, they just keep coming.
Yep, you can file
Come in.
it. wherever
Well,
you
let us know when you run out of folks.
Maybe we need to
Okay.
switch over a little.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
why don't
got
we just
everybody?
spin them right around the room?
Okay. All right. I think we have most of everybody. I think we still have a few folks up there with phones, and I'm sure folks at YSB and FIX doing their things today. So good morning. Today I am joined by two of my partners in child welfare. So Patty Flood, who's the executive director at Wardell and Associates, most commonly referred to as FIX, and Christine Bishop, who is the CEO of the Center County Youth Service Bureau, most commonly referred to as the YSB, and then many of our amazing, passionate, and dedicated staff for each of our agencies. So this week and next week are two very important weeks in child welfare, as they are the 2 weeks set aside each year that provide us with the opportunity to publicly thank our staff for the incredibly difficult jobs that they do each and every day, and to raise awareness for the ongoing need for additional staff to help meet the needs of children and families in Center County. So when someone signs on to work in child welfare, whether that is with CYS or FIX or YSB, they are signing on for a commitment. It's a physical physical and emotional commitment every single morning you walk out the door, but is also an incredibly rewarding commitment that you will likely not achieve anywhere else. Regardless of the position you have at CYS, FIX, or YSB, you know that every day you will see and hear things that the average person does not even realize happens within our communities. You know that each task you complete and each decision you make will impact a child and family for the rest of their lives. You also know that you will be challenged each day to meet children and families that you are serving where they are at, to put aside your own values, your own beliefs, and sometimes, quite frankly, your own needs, to ensure that the children you are serving are safe and that the family you are serving is provided every opportunity to do the best that they can to keep their family intact, to keep their children safe, or to have their child returned to their care. You also know that you are the one that is there during the crisis, hearing the child or family share their experience, their traumas, and that they are trusting you to help them. You get to see families at their worst, but also at their best. At CYS, each and every day, my staff are investigating allegations of child abuse and neglect. They are meeting families on their darkest of days, on days when the last thing they want is to have us show up at their door. They are working often an uphill battle to engage children and families and determine how best to keep children safe while trying to keep them in their home, or when that's not possible, in their community. When they're not investigating allegations, they're working closely with children and families to ensure that safety plans are being followed, that services are being put in place, that they're receiving the necessary supports, and that goals of family service plans, child permanency plans are being met so that we can leave children and families stronger than they were when we found them. They do this each and every day, often working long, unpredictable hours, and knowing that they have a significant number of regulatory requirements for each case that they are assigned, making it impossible for them to do some of the hands-on work that they so strongly know that families need and deserve. And that is where FIX and YSB come in. So they play a key role in keeping our children safe and strengthening our families and fulfilling our mission. These two agencies are directly connected to child welfare. They provide programming and services that are unique to Center County. They are designed to meet the needs of our children and families. Their programs are provided in their home environments at times that are convenient for children and families, at schools to ensure that every child can have the opportunity to participate, and in the community to ensure that they're reaching those who have not yet even come to our attention. Prevention work at its finest. Their services are also those that our children and families need, but that the staff of CYS do not have the ability to provide themselves. Therefore, having that partnership, that teamwork, really does allow for our staff to stay focused on the tasks that only they, as certified trained caseworkers or supervisors, can complete, but also know and trust that the children and family are getting the services they need and deserve. The staff at YSB and FIX work extremely hard to fill in those gaps, to educate and support our children and families, and we could not do what we do without them. I'm often asked as the director of CYS how I do what I do and how my staff keep up with all that is asked of us while balancing the intense and ever-changing needs of children and families. We are only able to do it because of the types of partnerships that we have with FIX and YSB and the support of our commissioners. These types of support and partnerships are ones that we can work together to figure out how to meet a need, how to adjust workloads or tasks to fill in gaps created by vacancies or an increased need in one area or another, and ones that we can provide that support, that listening ear, and that gratitude for one another, knowing that someone else gets it, someone else understands the complex world of child welfare. So my staff know that I'm a big believer in teamwork makes the dream work. In order to keep our children safe and strengthen our families, you have to have a team that is comprised of compassionate, caring, dedicated staff and partners who share the same vision and mission. And we are extremely fortunate to have that here in Center County. So thank you for allowing us to have these two proclamations today and to be able to raise awareness for the great work that we are doing each and every day.
Thank you very much, Leah. Would Patty or Christine like to say something? They also both lead pretty good-sized organizations.
Yeah. I just want to take a moment and thank everybody for having us here today and for recognizing what is often an unseen or just underappreciated role. And so, many people here in the room do this work directly and know this, but many people are out in the field right now. They're watching kids, they're meeting kids and families in the community. So we want them to have all that recognition as well. I'm in a really unique position here at YSB because every day I see and hear about details of us doing, really hard work supporting local children and their people, their grown-ups. That might be their parents, other caregivers, extended family members, foster parents, but also the child welfare professionals and providers that you see some of in the room today. We are all working really hard to make sure that kids and families get what they need. Like Leah said, we see and hear details that are hard, and a lot of times people don't even realize that those situations are happening for kids. We have to, make sure that we're monitoring plans, we're following up, and we're providing support that families need to do their job well. I always say it takes a village to raise children well, and you're seeing a lot of that village in the room here today. We log a lot of hours, sometimes unexpectedly. So, I'm looking at, our Director of Residential Services, our Director of Reunification. You guys know because you're the ones figuring out staffing. But sometimes we are, unexpectedly sitting with a child overnight in an emergency room because they need emergency care, and we're the ones that can respond. We are sometimes, advocating for kids at their IEP meetings in schools. And sometimes we're, gathering over the weekend or on an evening for a family group conference, getting, everybody's, whoever they define as their family in a room to talk about what they see as their strengths, what they see as their concerns, and what they can commit to help keep their own kids safe. No matter the details, though, one thing holds true. I absolutely agree with Leah that we are better together. YSB, FIX, Center County government working together. There's no way that we could serve the amount of kids and families that we do if we weren't all working together really closely. At YSB alone, we provide about 500 children and family members with intensive in-home services, either living with us or through reunification services. Or parenting education. And then additionally, we provide about 2,500 other kids and family members with preventative services. So that might be through our youth centers, our Big Brothers Big Sisters mentoring, and our outreach and work that we do through the schools. And that's really important because it supplements those mandated services that families need. And the ideal is that we are able to reach and support families before they reach a crisis and before expensive things and traumatic things happen, like placing kids. So it's that kind of system all working together that allows us to do this work. So again, I just want to thank you all for the attention and recognition that these proclamations give our providers. And to anyone considering joining the child welfare field, we need you, so please reach out. I know we all have current openings at all different levels, and at YSB we're operating at about 89% capacity right now, and that is held really steady. So, we have 7 great opportunities to join us at YSB right now.
Great, thank you, Christine. Patty?
Thank you. I just want to take the opportunity also. I feel like Leah and Christine have said a lot about our gratitude, and I appreciate the recognition for the proclamation. I feel that I have the opportunity, and I've been lucky enough to be at FIX since it started, so I've been there now. It'll be just this month 36 years that FIX has operated, and we started in Center County, and we have grown. But most importantly, we have developed that relationship with the county, with the Children and Youth Agency, with the caseworkers, our staff, with them in order to develop what's needed for the families at any given time. There is no, sometimes people ask what our programs do. I have general descriptions, but sometimes I can't predict what they will do because our kind of motto when I get the call from Leah at this point, it's what do you need and how can we help? And so that is really what we do. But I understand that I don't do it without the help of really great staff. I feel very fortunate for the staff that we have. I have several staff here representing the different programs. We have a few opportunities, even though at this point I think we have 3 openings at our program, which compared to what we've been, that feels really a high number. I would say that the issue is more that we have a lot of young, new staff. Probably about 25% have been with us under 2 years. But I'm also really proud to say I have about 20% of my staff that are over 20 years. So that in of itself helps balance out some of that. And so really appreciative of that and feel lucky to work at the agency, but also feel lucky for the relationships that we have with the agencies, with even I like to joke that I actually started at YSB and then at FIC, so I feel like I have that overall arching experience of the two programs and the relationships that we have between the programs. So thank you for the proclamation, for the focus on the great work that we do, and mostly thank you to my staff who does all of the work, and for the Children and Youth and the Youth Service Bureau staff who do all of the daily line, I call it on the line, doing the things that need to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Very impressive to have most of the employees of one of the larger county departments, plus some additional staff from a couple of the county's larger partners in the children and youth arena. People sometimes forget this county is bigger than the state of Rhode Island, and with 160,000 residents, as was mentioned, we have 500 families currently working intensely with YSB. 500 individuals working intensely with YSB, 2,500 individuals who are working in a less intense fashion. I know that over time we've had well over 100 adoptions through the Center County Children and Youth. And as everyone was mentioning, they're all hiring, and it is a difficult but rewarding job where you can help put families back together again and help steer children toward a productive future. Before I start to cry, I'll hand it over to Commissioner Concepcion.
So I think one of the things that I've heard when I've talked to people throughout the state is that Center County's Children and Youth Services is really kind of a model for what counties throughout the state look for as a really effective model of cooperation between the county and these kind of different agencies, and that the results that we see in terms of relatively low numbers of children who need to be in county custody really speaks to the way that this kind of prevention work and the programs that we have working with our families are helping to keep kids and families together before we get to that point of a child needing to be taken into county custody. So we're just really grateful for the work that you all do, and I know it's really emotionally difficult work because you know how important it is to get it right when you're working with these families, and the impact that that's going to have on the next generation. And that really shapes the kind of community that we live in, to have Children and Youth Services and our partner agencies really doing this kind of preventive work so that our whole community benefits from the kind of stability that is able to be provided for these kids. So thank you all for what you're doing. And to anyone who's in the watching and thinking about future careers, this is really someplace you can make such a big impact. And we're always looking for foster families as well.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Yes, we are always looking for foster families.
Very well said, Commissioner Concepcion. Commissioner Dershowitz, your thoughts?
Oftentimes, we deal with individuals who make bad decisions. And I think this is one of the times when a child doesn't get to choose the family or the circumstance in which they are born in. And because of that, you see probably some of the most challenging experiences in any of our human human services area. Quentin, nothing personal against what you guys do, because you do a tremendous work as well, but probably as vulnerable a group, and a group that needs as much attention immediately in their lives and immediately when these circumstances present themselves. You work and live in a highly regulated world that I don't think many of us appreciate, and I think probably 99% of the folks out there that aren't involved in the system can't imagine the things that that you're required to maintain as far as records and policy. But what you do is incredibly important, because those individuals who don't have a choice as to the circumstances of which they're in really need the help, need the guidance, and quite frankly need rescued. And that's where you come in. It's not a perfect system. We all know that, and sometimes it's painful, and oftentimes maybe not even always fair, because the system always errs on the side of the safety and security of the child. And to do that requires a certain special mindset and a certain amount of caring that everybody in this room has demonstrated over and over and over again. And we know that. And I think it's important that the rest of the folks in the community know and understand that as well, because although you may not want to take somebody into custody or deal with a family that perhaps is struggling, it's important that you do, and that's very, very, very important work that you accomplish. And I just want to say thank you for taking care of again, some of the most vulnerable citizens in our community, and knowing that balancing act between dealing with the families and dealing with the children and dealing with all the other structure that you have to is a real challenge. But I will echo the fact that it is probably some of the most rewarding work that you can ever do as well. And if you are called to service and called to make a big difference in our community, I think this is one career that really does that. And we want to thank you all for coming in today and showing your commitment to the children of our community. And again, appreciate everything that you do, and we'll continue to support you in that role. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Dersham. So I think one of the big points is everybody's hiring, rewarding jobs. You can make a huge difference in young people's lives, and also looking for foster families. And here in Center County, we do have a broad variety of services available to foster families to help them as they undertake that very important work. I think maybe we should have everybody kind of stay where they are. Maybe we'll pass both proclamations, and then we'll see if JJ can put it on wide angle and get in the back of the room and have everybody pretty much come up front, maybe in the center well here and on the sides. Does that sound like a good plan,
So we've
John?
covered all the proclamation.
Well, we'll pass them right away.
Right, okay.
And then we'll give, I think, Leah one, and Patty and Christine could hold the other one. Maybe you guys want to be up at the very front part. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right.
Wonderful.
Then I will move to adopt Proclamation 33 of 2024, proclaiming June 3rd through 7th, 2024 as Child Welfare Professionals Appreciation Week in Center County.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Proclamation number 33, proclaiming June 3rd through 7th as Child Welfare Professionals Appreciation Week in Center County. All in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to Proclamation number 34 and then take probably our biggest group picture ever.
I will move to adopt Proclamation 34 of 2024, proclaiming June 10th through 14th, 2024 as Child Welfare Service Providers Appreciation Week in Center County.
I will gladly second that.
We have a motion and a second to proclaim, for Proclamation 34, to proclaim June 10th through 14th as Child Welfare Service Providers Appreciation Week in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, so let's try to get organized for this picture. I think this one is Leia's, and this one is Patty and Christine's.
Maybe we can make a
Yeah, a big group up in the middle.
making
So
the,
that's for the two of you.
I don't want to stomp on anybody.
You try to do up front.
Let's move everything this way. Sorry, guys.
I'm going to wheel this down here if you don't mind, so we can all You guys always go by. Just troublemaker here.
JJ, you might be doing
Push this out of the way. This might be a full frame picture here.
Good.
All right, get it right here. I might have to push those out of the way. Well, I'll tell you what, how about we put another layer in the middle here?
I'm usually seeing.
All right, is everybody ready?
JJ, do we have enough? Do you have enough width?
Oh, so much width. We can control. All right, everyone ready? 3, 2, fun. Smile. Smile. 1 second. By the, what is that, Pennsylvania flag?
Yeah.
If you could just tilt your head that way. Yeah. Floral press. Floral press. Yes. All right, 3, 2, fun. 3, 2, fun. Okay, thank you. That better be
Lacey. Over here, Lacey. Let me run up real quick.
All right, cake upstairs, guys.
Ever since you stole this one from us, we haven't forgiven you. But other than that, you guys take care. Yeah, you too.
Good job, Leah.
We're gonna hear crickets here soon.
Yeah. More of a normal crowd now. All right. So moving forward, we have an announcement from the Center County Aging Department involving the Farmers Market Voucher Program kickoff, and Quentin will cover that. I know that's very popular with both our seniors and our farmers markets.
Yeah, so we have our farmer vouchers, and on our website we have where we're going to be at distributing them. Also, we have where you can actually get the farmer vouchers and use them. Right now we have 5 vouchers at $10 a piece, which is the most we've ever had, and it's a total of $50. It has to be used. It has to be something that's grown in Pennsylvania, so it can't be bananas, it can't be pineapples. It starts in June and runs through October. And we now have 1,400 vouchers available for our older adults. You have to be 60 years old by the end of the year to qualify. You have to be a resident of Center County, of course. And our income guidelines are $27,861, and for a couple, $37,814. So you can get them by coming to our office if you provide your ID and proof of residency. We're also, like I said, we're also going out to different apartment complexes throughout Center County, and that information's on our website. You can also call into our office. We'll send you an application. You send it back, and then you can get your vouchers. And we do have our email at aging@centercountypa.gov, and you can contact us that way as well. And we can get you some vouchers that way. Last year, we were about a month late getting them from the Department of Agriculture, and we actually gave back 100. We gave 100 to Cambria County. So I'm hoping that with a little more outreach, we can get everybody in Center County who needs them. We can get rid of all 1,400 of our vouchers. I think that's it.
All right, so Quentin, people shouldn't be bashful. If
No.
you're like, well, I don't know, is $50 of fresh farmers markets, fruits and vegetables, and possibly meats worth it? Maybe I'm going to be in somebody else's way.
Nope.
We had to turn some back last year.
Yeah, we did. So if you're eligible for it, we really encourage you. We also have information here on ways to store your food and to safely use your vegetables. And one other thing is they do not give change. So if you have your voucher, use the whole thing when you're there.
All right. Well, they're in $10 increments, so
Yep.
that shouldn't be too tough. So you said it's aging@centercountypa.gov is one option.
That's one option. You can always call us, and we can get them out to you that way. And of course, you can always come in. Just make sure you have your ID. And if your ID does not have your proof of, that you live in Center County, something that shows that you live in Center County.
All right. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
So it looks like you can provide a list of participating farmers markets when people acquire those vouchers then.
Yep.
I see that-
Yes, we have them. We can mail it out. I provided you with it, and also on our website we have it as well. So people can go online and they can see where they can use them.
There's like 8 or 9 at the Bullsburg Farmers Market alone.
Yeah.
And this is a good way to support our local farms as well.
Yes.
Encouraging folks.
Yeah, it's a good way to support our local farms, and also one of our biggest challenges in aging is nutrition for our older adults. And this is a way during the summer that they can get fresh, really good fruit and vegetables.
Great. Commissioner Dershowitz, questions? or
I think
comments?
it's a fantastic program, and I think it not only helps the folks that it serves, but also the folks that grow the food that quite frankly could use the business. So it works out for everybody, and I think from a nutritional standpoint, keeps everybody healthier, gives everybody an opportunity to eat a little better, and support the local economy as well. So fantastic. That's a win.
Any questions from the press on the program? Nope. All right. Well, great. Thank you very much, Quentin. And hopefully this year we'll have Center County residents claiming all the ones we have available.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Now we'll move on to bids and proposals. We have both Jonathan and Norm here to talk about a Center County tree trimming service at various county-operated facilities, but I think a lot of them are 911 towers.
Morning.
Morning.
So we have an RFP that had gone out for tree trimming services at 4 county-owned 911 towers. We're requesting to proceed with a contract with Cutting Edge Tree Professionals for a total of $37,211.
Great, Jonathan. I believe Cutting Edge is located here in Bellefonte off the top of my head, just down at the bottom of
I
the hill.
believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, well, great to see that we did get some bid interest on this, and that we do have a local company here in Center County that is able to do the work and fill out all the paperwork. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
No, looks good.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
No questions.
All right, we'll take a motion then.
I'll move to approve a contract with Cutting Edge Tree Professionals, LLC for the Center County Tree Trimming Services RFP.
We'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve a contract with Cutting Edge Tree Professionals, LLC for the Center County Tree Trimming Service RFP. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And Jonathan, you have 2 more items for us. I think the first one is for the courthouse.
Yes, I'm looking for a motion to be able to advertise for the building envelope RFP for the courthouse, which would include items such as repairing the front concrete steps, the front steps in front of the monument, replacing backer rod in expansion joints, brick repointing, things of that nature, just to seal up the building.
A lot of caulking and flashing work too, probably.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion?
No, I think this is important maintenance that you got to do on old buildings, so.
Commissioner
I'm
Dershowitz?
good. Thank you.
I'll move to, oh,
I was
sorry.
gonna say,
Okay.
things like this happen when you have the oldest operating courthouse in the state.
I'll move to approve advertisement for the Center County Courthouse Building Envelope Upgrades RFP.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve advertisement for the Center County Courthouse Building Envelope Upgrades RFP. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now under contracts and authorizations, Jonathan has another item for us.
I'm looking to proceed with a design proposal from Hoffman Leakey Architecture for the redesign of the front entrance at the courthouse.
Great. Thanks, Jonathan. I believe that mostly revolves around improving security at the
Correct.
courthouse. Commissioner Concepcion?
No, it seems good.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I'm fine.
All right.
I'll move to approve the proposal with Hoffman Leakey Architects LLC.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposal with Hoffman Leakey Architects LLC. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
And now Carrie from Criminal Justice Planning has a modification request.
Yes.
Good morning. I'm requesting the Commissioner's approval to submit a project modification request to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency for our current COVID Mitigation for Counties grant. This grant is scheduled to end July 31st of this year, and in order to better expend the funds that we were allotted, which totaled $90,033, I want to modify some of the existing line items and add 3 additional new line items. So currently this grant funds mitigation supplies at the correctional facility and at our juvenile detention facility located in Center County. Currently it's funding some COVID tests, gloves, masks, electrostatic foggers, and cleaning and disinfecting supplies. The COVID tests do have expiration, so we cannot purchase as many as we originally projected. So instead of wasting those funds, we'd like to repurpose some of that money. And we're requesting 3 laptops and web cameras for the jail's classrooms. Some of the programming and educational services from outside providers that contract with the jail would prefer to do some of their work virtually as opposed to coming into the facility at times. So having the technology in the classrooms would make that easier. And we're also going to add paper products, paper plates, cups, things like that, because when inmate is sick, they do try to use those items as opposed to other dishware. So I just want to shift some of the money from the underspent line items to some items that are more in need, like gloves and cleaning supplies, just to better expend the grant.
Sounds good. Commissioner Concepcion?
That makes sense.
Commissioner Dershowitz? I'm good. All right.
I'll move to approve the project modification for the COVID-19 Mitigation for Counties grant.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the project modification for the COVID-19 Mitigation for Counties grant. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries, and I think you've got another one for us.
Yes. So as a joint effort with Krista and myself, we're requesting the board approve a contract with the Jana Marie Foundation to provide 2 mental health first aid training classes. One will be July 15th, the other October 15th, to county personnel and members of the Center County CJAB. The contract total will not exceed $3,400, half of which will be funded with our CCAP/PCCD mini grant that the CJAB was awarded. The other half will come from Capital Blue Cross Wellness Funds that Krista manages. We just think this is a good opportunity for some of our county staff to partake in this training, and since we have the mini grant funds and the wellness dollars, won't cost any county dollars to do so.
Great. Well, I have heard positive reviews from several sources on the Jana Marie Foundation mental health first aid training classes. Commissioner Concepcion, questions?
No, it seems like a good use of time and funds.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
No, it's fine. Thank you.
All right.
I'll move to add the contract with the Jana Marie Foundation to next week's consent agenda.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with the Jana Marie Foundation to the next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you.
And now Krista has an item for risk management.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am here today to request your consideration on our annual renewal of our property casualty insurance policy for the whole county. It runs from June 1, 2024 to June 1, 2025, and the amount this year is $509,389.
Which I know is up, but probably not as much as it could have been.
Very good point, Commissioner. Yes. None of any of us got out without an increase this year, but it was marginal as opposed to going with another carrier.
Wonderful.
And this is through, I neglected to mention, this is through Pennsylvania County's Risk Pool, who has been our insurer for.
Right, which is affiliated with the County Commissioners Association.
Absolutely, yep, it's the insurance arm.
Yeah. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
No, sounds good.
Steve?
As well.
Good, okay.
Then I'll move to add the contract with P Corp to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with P Corp to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Krista.
Commissioners.
And now Liz and Marcella have a couple of appointments for us.
We do. Thank you very much. As you may be aware, the Center County Metropolitan Planning Organization adopted a strategic plan last year, and through that process, they identified the need to create a new projects committee. Among that is a 5-member person committee, 2 appointments of which the county is able to fill. So this morning we are asking your permission to fill a seat for the county representation, which will be Amber Concepcion, and a representative to the outer planning regions, which will be Daryl Schaefer out of the Penns Valley. I don't know, do you have specific questions about the projects committee and maybe the responsibilities? Do you want to?
Yeah, you can cover that briefly.
Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, as Liz mentioned, last year the MPO approved their strategic plan, which also created the projects committee. So, the projects committee, as she mentioned, is a 5-member board that will provide advisory recommendations. Sorry, my paperclip is stuck. To the coordinating committee, which is the policy body of the MPO, which Amber and Mark both sit on. So what we're going to be doing this year is hopefully getting to the point where we can prioritize projects. So that will come with a responsibility of creating criteria and a prioritization matrix. As you probably know, we have a long list of transportation projects in Center County which are not funded because our plans have to be fiscally constrained. So as part of my job, I will be working with the projects committee to kind of put that list together, prioritize those, and then see what funding programs we can go after through the bipartisan infrastructure law. So projects committee will consider candidate programs and opportunities for not only grant funding, but also the long-range transportation plan, which is being updated this year, and I believe will be hopefully considered to be approved next year. The short-range transportation improvement program, which the MPO will be looking at adopting our next one at the June meetings, and then our annual Unified Planning Work Program, which is the 2-year program that we have that directs our staff what we're going to be working on. So other programs are the Transportation Alternative Set Aside, which is what a lot of municipalities will go after for multimodal and other types of transportation projects, and of course discretionary grant programs through the bipartisan infrastructure law, as well as programs at the state level, which include the automated red light enforcement program, Green Light Go, the HSIP, which is the Highway Safety Improvement Program, and the Multimodal Transportation Fund. So the MPO staff will be working with this projects committee to hopefully prioritize and give us direction on where they'd like us to go. So again, they're advisory, so anything that they recommend will go through the technical committee and then the coordinating committee.
Great, thanks, Marcella. And Amber, you can vote for yourself since you're not going to receive any compensation for this. Any questions?
Yeah, I think that there's been this long discussion around the structure of the MPO and what would best be able to help us be more effective and efficient in how we do the work. And it does seem like this projects committee will be a way to have some meetings in between the technical and coordinating committees to really kind of delve into some of the specifics of how we're making these prioritizations. And it should be, I think, helpful as we can bring criteria to the coordinating committee. It's not that we're making decisions per se in the projects committee, but having a way to evaluate and bring in more information to the coordinating committee about why we're recommending particular projects. So.
Thanks, Commissioner Dershowitz.
Mark, have we done proper vetting on the county representative here?
Well, I assume we have. It's been something like 13 years of public service at this point.
Okay, well, all right. I guess I'll be able to trust in her good judgment to lead us forward in this project. So, no, I think everything is. I think both Amber and Daryl have significant experience, and I think they'll do well representing us and making sure we have transportation met for many years to come.
Very good.
And thank you very much for all the hard work.
Thank you.
You both do.
So I think we can take a motion.
Okay, then I will move to approve planning and community development items 1 and 2.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2 items for planning and community development. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Great, thanks Liz and Marcella.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And now Chris has another memorandum of understanding for a final land development plan. Thanks for coming. Chris?
Thank you and good morning.
Morning.
We have one memorandum of understanding on the agenda for today, but before I get to that, just a real quick reminder of what this MOU, memorandum of understanding, is that the commissioners are taking action on. And the one that is being presented today is simply a two-party agreement, and that's between the developer and the county, whereby the developer will agree to reimburse the county for the costs associated with the county's engineers processing, reviewing, inspecting, and approving the engineering details of the plan. So with that, what is on the screen is the Jason Bartleball storage buildings located in Miles Township. The proposal is a final plan that shows the development of two storage buildings, one being 19,200 square feet and the other comprising 22,525 square feet on property owned by Jason Bartleball, which contains about 4.09 acres. The property is located on the southern side of Schaefertown Road, about 250 feet east of its intersection with Madisonburg Pike. And up on the screen is a 2020 aerial, and this is State Route 192, and then this is Madisonburg Pike, which is 445. And as you go up Madisonburg Pike, you're going to see a road called Schaefertown Road, and just as you turn off right onto Schaefertown, there's actually an alley called East Alley, and right at the intersection is where Jason is putting these two storage buildings. And the plan was prepared by Brinkash and Associates out of Ashland, Pennsylvania, and the gravel pad is already existing. He simply wants to now put up storage buildings to then get his basic carnival rides and concession rides out of the open air and under a roof to help not only with maintenance but also to increase the longevity of the equipment. And so that's the MOU that's being presented today.
Well, I was just out there on Saturday. If you go back to the previous aerial, I think just to the left, isn't Fisher's out that way?
Fisher's, I think, is on the left,
on the
right,
left side.
Yeah.
right there.
Right there, yeah.
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 Fisher's
Yeah.
Saddle, I think.
Tell people place it. I know a lot of people go to Fisher's there in Madisonburg between needing shoes and work boots and saddles and leather repairs, etc.
There's a couple businesses on Schaefertown. There's a
Yeah.
greenhouse just up
Yep.
on the north side, and then there's the Stoltzfus storage shed
Oh,
on
yes.
the southern side as well.
Large operation. Great. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion?
No, sounds okay.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
No, it's a big site.
No?
Thank you.
Then I'll move to add the memorandum of understanding to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to add the memorandum of understanding to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. And then Ray has an item for housing.
Thank you, Commissioners. This morning, have a modification of a first-time homebuyer secondary loan on a property at 1041 West College Avenue in Pleasant Gap. The mortgage that was filed for this first-time homebuyer loan was $100,000, and as you know, our typical loan is about $10,000. So the settlement company inadvertently added a zero, and this modification will correct the book 02316, page 0908, and all costs for the corrective action will be borne by the mortgage company. So we're asking that consideration for the modification.
Great. Yeah, I hope at some point the commissioners will increase our $10,000 first-time home buyer figure to something bigger, but probably not $100,000.
That's fine.
Good to see we can correct that typo quickly without anything being held up. Commissioner Concepcion? Commissioner Dershowitz?
Happy to make the correction.
All right.
And I'll move to approve the modification to the first-time home buyer county mortgage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the modification of the first-time home buyer county mortgage. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great.
you.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
And then Julia has an item, a contract addendum with the Penn State Psychological Clinic.
Good morning. So I'm asking you to consider approval of contract addendum number 1 with Penn State University, Penn State Psychological Clinic to provide $10,000 in additional funding for mental health and intellectual disability services. So Penn State Psych Clinic is providing outpatient clinic services for our mental health individuals and some behavioral consultations for our intellectual disabilities individuals. This is reflective of increased usage over past years, which is fantastic. We're very happy to partner with Penn State and are happy that they're accepting additional folks to provide these much needed services.
Great, thanks, Julie. Wonderful to see the partnership with Penn State. Amber, any questions? Steve?
They've been a tremendous resource for a long time. Glad we can continue that.
All right.
I'll move to add the contract addendum number 1 with Penn State University, Penn State Psychology Clinic to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to add the contract addendum number 1 with Penn State University, Penn State Psychology Clinic to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Julia. Move on to our consent agenda, kind of medium-sized.
I'll move to approve this week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll now move to our check run. Commissioner Concepcion.
So the check I'd like to recognize on our check run today is to Ainsworth. This is we're excited getting into the beginning of a lot of checks related to the Center Crest renovations that are coming out of our general obligation bonds that were taken out for this project. And that's moving forward, and it sounds like they finished demolition and moving on into the construction phase. So with that, I will move to approve the check run dated May 31st, 2024.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the check run dated May 31st. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. The motion carries. Is there an administrator's report, John?
Nothing to report at this time.
All right. Why don't we do the voters registration report, and then we'll do the letter of support.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay, so today in our voter count, we have 101,439 registered voters in Center County. That is up 58 from last week. Of those, we have 42,397 Democratic registrations, 145 Green Party, 599 Libertarian, 14,110 with no affiliation, and 41,171 registered Republicans. All of the other smaller parties comprise 3,017, which brings us to that total of 101,439. Our party of the week this week is the Federalist Party, and they have 3 registered voters in Center County. Moving on to our precinct of the week, we are recognizing Precinct 57, Harris Township West. They vote at the Boalsburg Fire Hall at 113 East Pine Street in Boalsburg. And they have 1,951 registered voters at Harris Township West. And in the last election, they had a turnout of 36.75%. And we would like to appreciate Boalsburg Fire Hall for allowing us the use of their facility for elections.
All right. Thank you very much, Amber. Now, John, we'll loop back to that letter of support for the Press Forward grant for statecollege.com.
Sure. Press Forward is a national coalition that is investing more than $500 million into local newsrooms to close a gap in journalism coverage, advance public policy that expands access to local newsrooms, and to help scale and bring back local information and news. So statecollege.com has applied for a Press Forward grant from this coalition, and before you is consideration of a letter of support.
All right. I believe we just got the email essentially over the weekend.
Yeah, we put it together yesterday, so.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
Yep.
Thank you, Aaron, and Julie's helped with it too. Thanks a lot. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion?
No, I think local news coverage is really critical, and it's been decreasing nationally, and anything we can do to help them get the support they need is good.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
No, to appreciate the folks in the room who make that all happen too, so thank you very much.
Great. All right. We can
I
take a
will
motion.
move to approve the letter of support for statecollege.com.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support for statecollege.com. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Let's see, for our announcements, the Board of Commissioners and Salary Board meeting on Thursday, June 6th has been canceled, I believe due to the grant, Tourism Grant Awards ceremony happening at the same time. Do we have any executive sessions to report or to hold, John?
No executive sessions to report, however, there is a need to meet briefly to discuss a personnel matter.
All right. So we'll be recessing,
Entering into
executive session at the end here. Remainder of our public meeting schedule, Tuesday, June 4th. We have an 11 o'clock work session, which will be slightly delayed. And then on Tuesday, June 11th, we have our 10 a.m. Board of Commissioners meeting. Thursday, June 13th, the combined Salary Board and Board of Commissioners meeting at 10, and a Board of Assessment and Revision of Taxes meeting at 1. Do we have any questions from the press today? Yes.
I have one question, and it's unrelated to what y'all talked about today, but I didn't get a chance to ask it earlier because I was out of the room. So many people here.
Yeah.
Just over a year ago, up in Phillipsburg, it was announced that there was interest in a lithium-ion battery factory by DC Power. And I believe a gentleman named Eric Roundtree came and helped. Since then, we haven't really heard a lot about that, and I was just wondering if either of you three have heard any updates about the status of this factory.
Right. To the best of our knowledge, he did not receive federal grants from either round. So I think they'll just be having to continue to work with the forklift batteries and grow from there.
Okay, that's what I had heard too, but I just wanted to ask and confirm.
Yeah, that's our knowledge as well.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Any other questions? No? Well, great. Thank you very much for coming. So we will take a motion to move into executive session.
I'll move to enter executive session.
Second. We have a motion and a second to enter executive session at 10:56. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are entering into executive session.